Welcome to the video tutorial for assignment 6.3, Fixing Choropleth Maps. We are going to change the data that we are displaying in the 3 Choropleth maps that we made in assignment 3.1. So to get started, you need to open the project that you used to complete the assignment in 3.1 and make sure that the project still contains your 311 service call layer that you use to display the data. So that will be the layer in your table of contents that has the legend broken out here. So you're going to right click on your layer and we are going to add a new field. So once you've right clicked on your layer and opened the attribute table, up in the top left part of the attribute table area, we're going to click add. And you are going to add 2 new fields. The first one that you're going to add is a field called area. You can choose what type of data type you want. You can choose float. That's what I'm going to stick with. And then the second field that we're going to add, we are going to call rate. I'm also going to keep that as a float. And now that that's all you need to do to add these 2 new fields, you just need to save it. And in order to save these 2 fields, you can either click the X here and it will pop up a box asking if you want to save your edits, or you can go to the Field tab up top and find the Save button. Now you can exit out of that field view and it will take you back to the table view, and you can see your 2 new fields over here. So first we are going to use the Calculate Geometry tool in order to calculate the square mileage of each of our wards. So right click on the field header and select Calculate Geometry. All right, I think the input features can be blank. Oh, it is blank because the name of my layer is blank in here. I might change that just to decrease any confusion. All right, and so now that I've updated the name of this layer, you can see it has now added to the attribute table up top. And we'll see if that changes the Calculate Geometry. Yeah, so our input feature is, our input layer is the light service call, and our field that we're going to calculate the geometry into is our area field. I'm going to move this so that you can see our area field is highlighted. Next, you're going to fill in the property option, and the property that we will be calculating for is area. So that first option, you're going to change your area unit to square US survey miles. Sorry, it took me a minute to see that. And lastly, you're going to change the coordinate system just to the light service call. So the same coordinate system that your layer is already in, that's the coordinate system that it's going to use to calculate the area of each of the 7 wards. Once you've filled in that information, go ahead and click OK. And it's going to run and calculate the area. Nice, so we've got our area values now. Next, we are going to calculate our rate, and the rate is going to be the rate of our service calls. So the rate is going to be equal to our service calls divided by the area. And we are going to use Calculate Field to determine this value. So again, right click on that column header, and this time click Calculate Field. And we are going to keep it on the Python 3 expression, and this first calculation is very simple. You're just going to, in this box over here on the left, you are going to choose the 2 fields that will be a part of your division calculation. So my fields are, my field is called lights. that is the field that represents the total number of service calls for each ward. So that's going to be my first field. And then you can just click the division button, and then you're going to click the area field. And you click apply. Or you can click OK and it will close out that box. And we've got our correct values here. I double checked by hand just to make sure everything looked all right. What I don't want though is to have these decimals in my legend when I change the symbology to this field. So I am going to run another field calculate that gets rid of these decimal places. It'll be a field calculate that rounds to the nearest whole number. So open up the calculate field dialog box again. This time we're still going to use Python 3 and we're going to use the round function. And we're just going to round this field, so it's my rate field. And then you're going to put a comma, and then you're going to put, so like when this is written out, it's n. N is representing the number of places after the decimal point that you want. I want 0, so I'm going to put 0 and click OK, and it's going to round it to the nearest whole number. I'm going to double check again that it rounded up properly. Or rounded up and rounded down. Yep, looks good. Okay, so those are the two new fields. And next we are just going to change the symbology for each of our data classification map types. After you have finished calculating your area and rate fields, we are going to change the symbology for each of our 3 map views so that we are symbolizing based off of the rate field. So I'm going to show you that in my natural breaks map view. I'm going to right click on the layer in the contents pane and then select symbology. There's only a couple things that we need to change in the symbology pane. The primary change is changing the field that it's using from whatever it's set at to the rate field. And you can see it changed the labels or the class values, and it changed the color a little bit. And once again, you probably should come over here and edit your label values so that they are easier to read at a quick glance. I'm not going to change these right now, but this, I guess technically it should be like 71, or so I guess I will change these right now. 80, we'll do 112. So if you still have your layout connected to your 3 map views, when you make those changes in the map views, they will automatically change in your layout view. And you can see that my layout view has changed. The legend title is different. It is now the rate field. The legend values are different, as well as the color categories are also different. The last part of the assignment is simply to redo the information that you had over here in your map credit area. Make sure you include your name, but also include an explanation of why we updated the data and maybe a little bit of description of what we did wrong the first time, and maybe you can compare and contrast the maps from the rate data to the maps that we made without the rate data, just with the count data. All right, well, I hope you guys enjoy this quick and easy assignment, and I'll see you guys in class.